Did you guys want to talk about the other thing, the color thing I'm working on, the color replacement patch? So you can basically take like a clip. Uh, why is my clip not playing? Take that out. Okay. So you can take the color replacement patch and put it over a specific area. And then I also added this select hue so that you could just basically choose your color. And now it's basically got you within the range of where you need to be to choose the color, and then you just basically dial back your thresholds. So your hue softness, the black threshold, and then you can just basically get it where you need it to be. So there now it's just kind of popped in place. And so now basically it's replaced that blue color. You have the option to come in here and like for instance, right now it's set to 1-to-1 value, right? So it's a dark red, but you could change the brightness of that red. You can change the contrast of that red, and then you also have the option to switch between the three colors. I didn't know if three colors would be enough. That was the other thing. Is that too? Do you need like do you when you typically do these things, Jesse? Do you typically need to have more than three colors?
Yeah, so my methodology for color is I go RGB and then I go
Mm-hmm.
CMY and then
Yep.
I also have an orange which I think fills out let me see actually. Um it should be 8. So I think I also have like I have a conga button as well. That's like a ultraviolet like purple.
So like you're looking like this, well, sort of. That's a little bit more like fuchsia, but you're talking about something that's more like in this range. I know that they've added somewhere, I have to remember where, but there is actually an option where you can choose like so here you can use the picker to like you have an eyedropper to pick a specific color, but it's not um in the latest version um Resolume, you can choose from a color scheme. So, like for instance, I just brought this in as just File Explorer, right? But if I had like a specific color in mind, I could just use the eyedropper tool and choose from anywhere. So, like if I want this green, so now I have that green, and now when I'm in here, that's color one. So there's that green. So yeah, that is something that but this would be particularly for like a singular color. If you're looking for like changing the entire thing, colorize is probably going to be, or hue shift is probably going to be your better options. This would be for specific colors in general. Have something in a specific area, like for instance, I made this logo. I want them green. I want the green to be red. I could just place it in place it in, and then choose the color. So I choose with my little eyedropper. And see, sometimes it does this weird thing. But if that doesn't work, I can select the color. So I select the green, and then it's set to the red right at this moment. But then I can really kind of dial it in where I want it. Then you can just basically you can have the three colors. So there's one, two, and three. So this is the original green, but we could change that green to like blue or purple or whatever you want to change it to. And so then you can just basically move between them. The only thing that I was thinking was there is a way to make it so that it's on the layer clip. The problem with adding it to the layer clip is because it's using this option down below. All of this stuff here is actually the chroma key, and when you use chroma key, it doesn't apply to the layer. That's the only disadvantage. So you would have to be like layer by layer specific. There's no way to like add it because it's a chroma key. You couldn't add it to the layer and then affect everything within the layer. It'd have to be clip by clip. But if you're looking for a way to change a color in a specific clip, this is probably the better way to do it. And all it's doing behind the scenes is it's creating this by using chroma key and then just replacing the color all in one patch. But there's none of that is anything that you couldn't do probably within Wire. If you did effects, if you go, I think there is a chroma key. Oh, there isn't. CH. Oh, there is chroma key. So you could take a chroma key and add it to a clip and then do the same thing. But the problem with that is then, like, I don't know how that would work. But in any case, there are ways that you can do that within Resolume. I would have to tinker with that to figure out how that works, but it's the same process. They give you the same tools in uh, Arena and Avenue versus Wire. Colorize would be the other way to do it, and when you do colorize, you can go. I don't know if you knew this. You can go to this mode and you can change it to palette, and then you can then select a palette here. Select a palette, and then there's all these default palettes that are already created, or you can create your own. And when you do that, it colorizes the entire thing. So basically, when you're using this colorize and you're using this palette, think of this as this palette here is actually turning this entire scheme black and white, and then it's applying a palette based on black to white values. So if you're in like shades of salmon, you'll notice that everything that was dark in this image is the salmon color, and everything that was light in this image is the lighter salmon, right? Same thing with the next, it doesn't matter which one you choose. Plasma, all the darker purples are this area here, and then the lighter purples are the yellow.
Yeah, I think my strategy at this point is going to be creating these gradient palettes for
Mm-hmm.
every kind of color, like different color schemes, basically. So I could have like a complementary color palette or like an adjacent type like color palette or something like that. Because I think like from my perspective, the plan is I hit one button and then maybe there's another option for like color scheme, which would be like where
Mm-hmm.
I would choose the complementary version or maybe an adjacent type version of the scheme, and that way it would
Mm-hmm.
turn all these full color clips to like basically adhere to those color schemes, and I can press
Mm-hmm.
effectively one button to sync color across the entire project. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do some testing, but I think that might be the plan at this point.
Because you could, like, for instance, like you could put it in its own layer, like an effects layer, and then it basically will replace the color for that image. And actually, I think the reason why this is doing this is because I have something on that layer. Hang on, let me move this to here. No, I'm doing something there too.
The other tricky thing is
There.
I'm like maxed on layers in my project. So I'm like every layer is like has the potential to like break the project. So
So like here I have two different palettes and I can select between the two. And this is for any layer. So if I'm on this layer, I just choose, you probably already know this, but and this works for all effects. So you can put all the effects on a layer and then just cycle through the effects.
yeah, this is going to be a game changer for sure though. Depending on how it's implemented, it's going to be really nice to kind of feel like I just have way more control over like my full color loops because they're so
Mhm.
hard to it's so hard to kind of create looks where that full color clip is not like completely taking over the entire scene because I'm usually mixing multiple clips together, but I mean everyone has their own style, but yeah, it would be nice to kind of be able to kind of rein in some of these like full color rainbow looks.
Mhm. If I do new and if I drag this one down below and then like if I take this layer and I copy it and I paste that down here. So now I have these two layers here, but then this one is the one that affects the layer below it, or it's supposed to. So this is being colorized by this. Let me think about this. I think I have this set up wrong. So I think I need to move this layer down. Yeah. So there. So now this is my mask and it's cutting this layer with this color. And then this is bleeding through. So now I could change between these two. So if you had it set up properly, like your mask could be here on this layer. So like for instance, I could take this and move this here. And then what I could do is I could use this as my mask, but then use chroma key onto that. So now when what I could do is I could move this to like here to this area. So now I've created a mask out of this one, and now I can switch between the 2. So yeah, there's tons of ways you could do that.
Yeah, I was like, I think that your idea to use like a gobo, or I mean, I'm calling it a gobo, but I'm basically like it's like a black and white matte layer, basically,
Yes.
to cut in or create like color combos between, different effects would be pretty sick. To
And
basically
there
mask the effect. Yeah,
yeah,
that's awesome.
you're basically creating the whatever animation that you have, right? So or you're creating your mask for your whatever you have in your clip. So it can be the original. So one of the other things that you could do, it just depends on how much control you have of the loops themselves or the clips that you have yourself. You could, in theory, like, I mean, there's no end to this circus. Like we were talking about last week, you could use a what is it called? It's not a normal map, it's a depth mask. And you could use that depth mask with a solarize. So I don't know if you know this. So I'm gonna quit out of this. If I have a new patch and we'll just create something. Do I have a? I think I do. Give me 1 second. I just gotta find test example. This. So if I take this out, this is a terrible example, but it's gonna have to work. This might be a better example, but we'll just throw these in. Okay, so these are just like just maps, right? I'm trying to create a bump map, but you could, in theory, like you could do linear, the gradient one, do expand, right? You could then connect these two together. You could then take a shift, and then you could plug the shift in and change the color or change it to color. So color, and then add in a colorize like that. Then make this a palette, connect this to this, then connect this to this uh, texture in data like that, and then connect this to this, then connect this to this. So now I have a way to move the colors, right? So this is probably a bad example. It would probably be better to use this, but you have a way to control the lighting. We were talking about the lighting before, but now you have a way to control the Z, the in and out, right? And the reason being is because you basically now have a mask. If I take this example and we throw in, where is it? This one. Uh, you have a way to control. Um, Let me think about this first. So I would need to do a mask. Use this as the mask and then take another colorize or another probably solid color would look better. Um, we'll do solid color just for this example. And then, so now I have this red, and then I can put this over the top, join, and then I can put this here, and I can put this here, other way around. And now if I shift in and out of this, that's what I'm talking about. Like you have the way to change, like control where it's being changed. Now the thing is that this bump map would probably need to be better than this map. It would need to be like you would have to have some real defined areas. Like, and even this would need to be cut out. So then you would probably want to do a mask on the mask kind of thing. Can I use this as a mask? Probably could. Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to do like put this one over here, and I want to go mask, and I want to take this and add this as the mask, but use the alpha from this one. So see how it's cut it out. So now what I could do is I could plug this into this. And so now it's just that area. So now when I move this, and then you could get even crazier, change this to 20, then change this to the ping pong, right? And so now when it's moving in and out, and then you could take this down to 5 and then take this down to 10, and that may look better. But there's crazy ways to control the lighting and control the coloring. It's just figuring out how to isolate the areas of a specific thing. So we created this diffuse. We could put in a gray scale to take the color out. Which one am I connected to? This one. Am I on the right one? There we go. and then this could be inverted, and it's gonna change the opposite. So you could take this one, plug this one into its own, take this and this, move this down, and then plug this one into here, then add this one to a join, and then add this one to this one. Hang on. Did I do that right? Yes, but this one would need to be the opposite, and then change this color. And what am I not doing? That one's to the solid color. Oh, I need to take this mask and plug it into here. Wait, did I do that right? Yeah, to the colorize. So this is going to the colorize and this is going to the palette. There, there. So now I have two independent colors that I can choose from, and you get this very interesting look, and you could cycle through them. So, like I said before, there's no end to this circus. You just have to figure out, you just dream up what it is that you're trying to do.